Well, hey y'all, got a bit of a different setup because it was my son's birthday and party yesterday and all my other surfaces are still kind of crazy. So I'm just sitting at the dining room table. But I wanted to do a video to show y'all this amazing new planner that I got. I'd mentioned in my planner collection video, I believe, that I was thinking about maybe getting this but wasn't sure. It's called the Sacred Ordinary Days Liturgical Day Planner, and I'm going to link down below all the website and the Facebook group and all the information that you need, because it's not just a planner, it's also a complete community, and there's a whole method with it, and it's really cool. I'll get into all that in a minute. The reason I finally decided to make the plunge, this started as a Kickstarter, and so the Kickstarter was for the 2016 Liturgical Day Planner. And obviously it's August 2016 right now, so it's a bit late in the year, and they had a academic year day planner that was released, and it's still available now, going from August until I think next July maybe. But I said I didn't really want to get on an academic year schedule, and I emailed them and wanted to make sure they were doing one for 2017. And so pre-orders for the 2017 edition will begin in September. But he said that it's a husband and wife, and then someone else that is on as a designer. And Grant is the husband, and he was really sweet when I emailed him. And he said that they had discovered a few left over from the Kickstarter that they were going to sell at more than half price. They're out of those now, but this is one that I got of those. And so since it was over half off, I decided to make the plunge and go ahead and purchase this. So for those that don't know, I don't know if I said this a minute ago, I'm a United Methodist clergywoman, and so it's always been very important to me to have set aside time each day to be in devotion, to have quiet time and be listening to God. I'm also the mother of 2 young children, and so finding that time has been difficult, and so I've really needed to plan it out. I wish it could be more organic, and it is more organic as I find God moments throughout my day, but to have that really set aside time for study and prayer, something I've needed to plan out. So prior to this, I had been using a happy planner that I got because I loved the morning, afternoon, and evening setup for my Bible study. I follow the Revised Common Lectionary. I'll link down below the Bible, the website I use as a resource to get my daily readings. And so it worked out really well that I would just go through. I'd write at the beginning of the week on Sunday. I would write in all the text for the week. And then every morning I would sit down with my Bible and my planner and just journal and respond to the text. Every afternoon I would do the same, and every evening I would do the same. And so 3 times a day I was turning to the scripture, and it really just helped me keep centered and grounded, and it was really just a very positive thing for me. So I knew I didn't want to lose this. But at the same time, writing out the text every week was taking some time, and I wanted something that was already there for me, and maybe something that also included some quotes or more journaling space or just more information that was more of a designated planner for this. And plus, I can't, this size is hard for me, and the disc-bound system, the rings were just bugging me. It just wasn't my favorite method for it. To show you the size comparison, it is it's the same width as the pages, but it is shorter, and it doesn't have the rings, and it's just to me, a nicer binding. That doesn't mean it's more expensive. It retails for $55, but that's only a couple of dollars more than an Erin Condren, so it's not that much, and in my opinion it's even higher quality because this is a fully bound book. Let me show you some of the features right quick before I show you exactly how I'm using it. So you open it up, and the entire planner is focused on the liturgical season. It's that these are, even in ordinary time, even in our ordinary days, this is sacred time. And so here, let me see if I can zoom in some. Oop, that's out. Sorry, again, this is a different camera angle for me. It has the liturgical calendar, it has all the special days, and it's a way if you aren't familiar with the liturgical calendar, if you aren't familiar with those seasons, it's a good resource. And even those of us that are very familiar, it's still nice to have this resource. It's got just the usual information contact page, and then it gets into a note from Jen, and just telling you about the story behind it and the journey that she had to create this. And then it has a really neat, you know how a lot of planners will have at the very beginning goal setting and how to use this planner? This is basically goal setting for your life, for your faith life. And so it starts with the rule of life. If anyone is familiar with monastic orders, they are most commonly known as having the rules of life. And a lot of different Christian communities have taught that this is an important thing to center yourself and figure out how you want to orient your life. What rule do you want to live your life by in order to best serve God and be in the world? So it has a space for you to brainstorm that. Some people will journal it. Some people will do art. There in the Facebook group, there's some really interesting ways that people have done it and different ways to get ideas and blog posts that have just been really helpful resources. So you start with your rule of life, and that's going to orient everything. And then, since this was a 2016 one, they provide a space for reflecting on 2015. What was the year like? What went well? What didn't? Just a page for reflection. And it talks about, it gives you a grid line still also for these reflections that you can see. She divides life into these, kind of similar to the level 10 life where there are 10 different areas. This is divided into 6 different areas: spirit, body, mind, relationships, home, and work. So this space is provided, and this is kind of a key thing to reflect and focus throughout the entire planner, the way it's set up. So you have this space to reflect in each of these areas on 2015. So then moving forward, it's not focus, it's reset. So it's reflect and reset. How are you going to reset your life for 2016? And then again, these 6 areas where you can journal and respond, your goals, your hopes for how you're going to reset your life according to your rule of life for 2016. So then it's a how to use your weekly planner. There's also, I will link down below her YouTube videos, which walk through, it's a longer video, but it's really worth it to walk through the ideas behind this planner and how to best use it, how to best utilize all the resources. And so it goes through the weekly pages, the daily pages, and then your standard calendar with holidays noted. And then it goes into the seasons. So this actually starts in Advent. So it started in 2015. Advent, if you don't know, is the beginning of the Christian year. So for each of the liturgical seasons, I won't go through all of them, but I'm going to show you just with Advent. There's this pretty opening to it. And then a discussion of what Advent is. It talks about the themes, the colors, the holy days, the purposes behind them. And for each of the seasons, it allows you to envision in each of the 6 areas how you're going to embody Advent, how Advent is going to be relevant for you. And then at the end of the season, you're going to reflect and then reset again in each of these areas to look forward for future Advents. What worked, what didn't, what was powerful, what else you might do in the years to come. And also how it's going to reset you for the rest of this year, not just for next Advent, but what are you going to take away from the season of Advent as you move forward throughout the year. It does have monthly pages, which is something I was excited about. I did use, because nowhere in the website or talking about it did it talk about the monthly pages. And I utilized my monthly pages in here to plan out intentional activities with my kids, to make sure I had a set aside time to really be present with them fully, where I wasn't focused on chores or errands or anything like that. And so that's how I'm still using this space. Obviously there's nothing here for December because I didn't get it until August. And then it moves into the weekly plan. I'll show you this one since it's blank, and then I'll start showing you how I'm using them. And so for each week, you have a quote for the week. You have the weekly lectionary readings from the Revised Common Lectionary. That's the same lectionary that I had used, and that a lot of churches that are lectionary based will use the Revised Common Lectionary. It's 3 years. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more so you can see up close. It goes in a 3-year cycle so that you can cover the most possible amount of text. There's a psalm reading, there's a Old Testament, a New Testament, and then a gospel reading for every week. And so this provides those that are for the week, and then it provides you every single week with a space to reflect on the past week and to reset for the week to come. Then Sunday gets an entire page like this, where since Sunday is the Sabbath, they're not the same tasks that you'll see in the future page. There's not the daily schedule. It's just the daily, there's a quote from the Book of Common Prayer. So let me zoom down, sorry, it's out of frame. Something from the Book of Common Prayer. It also will tell you where you are in the Christian year. It's the first Sunday of Advent, which is nice to keep track of that. So there's the quote from the Book of Common Prayer. There's the daily office, and this is not from the lectionary. It's a separate, I think it's still a 3-year, I think. I'm not positive. I'm not as familiar with the daily office. But again, it gives you several Psalms, Old Testament reading, New Testament reading, and Gospel. And then there's a quote, often having to do with Sabbath. I've really loved these quotes, having them in here, because it introduced me to some new Christian thinkers, and really I found some that I absolutely love. And then it's just a large space for journaling. Some people will do sermon notes, some people will reflect on the scripture. I'm using it kind of as different things. I still haven't quite decided how I'm going to use the Sunday space. So that's the weekly spread, and then you get into the dailies. So for each day, there is, of course, the date, a passage from the Book of Common Prayer, the daily office, again, those same scriptures. And then as kind of a task list, there are Project 1, Project 2, and Project 3. And for each of these, once you write out your project, what you hope to accomplish, kind of like how other planners will have your daily 3, your 3 most important tasks. There's space to write that. And then there's a cue. So your cue is going to be what in this week prompts me to do this. So it could be a certain time of day. It could be, if you're a stay-at-home parent, it could be the kids are napping, so this is the time I'm going to do this. Whatever your cue that this is the time to work on this project would be. And what I really love about this planner is that then there's the rest reward. So what are you going to do after you accomplish this project to bring a little Sabbath into your day? What is going to be the way that you rest or the way you reward yourself? It could be a cup of tea. It could be 10 minutes of reading or 10 minutes of Facebooking. Whatever, a lot of people will use certain pages in here, notes pages, to write out what their rests and rewards are that they can pull from there. So I just love this, that it's very intentional about ordering your day, that it's not just getting things accomplished, but it's also resting and being able to listen and be quiet, and just still yourself. So often in our world we just are do without taking a chance to rest and reward. Then there's a space right here for notes or any other task that might not be in your dailies. And then there's more space here that has a space for hours. So if you don't have an hourly schedule that you need, then you could use this for more to-dos or more notes. But if you do like to plan out your days by times, then there's that space for you there. And there's extra space here at the bottom. If you have any more you want to fill in, any more notes, any journaling you want to do, or gratitude, that would be a great space for this down here. So let me get in and showing you how I'm using it. First, I found this because I was trying to figure out what to write in here. I'll show you. I usually use a Sharpie pen, and I'll show you that didn't really work in here. It's nice thick pages, and it didn't bleed through it all, but there was enough ghosting that I didn't like it, and I decided to just use a mechanical pencil. And I found this one at Target, and it matches so well with this beautiful mint green color. So I snatched that up. For you planner girls know that sometimes it's about the accessories, and then just a binder clip to attach it on. There's not a pin loop, and this is the first edition of it, and so there are going to be changes that are made in the future. Like one of these accessories that came in the Kickstarter version is this one thicker bookmark ribbon, and based on feedback they got, they changed it instead to be 2 ribbons, so you can do it the monthly and the daily, or the weekly and the daily spread, and they're a bit thinner, because as you can see at the top, the thick ribbon is sort of hard to do it. A thinner ribbon would be better, and they listened to that and changed it. I believe they made additionally, one of the changes they made is that now this is also available in a gray in addition to the beautiful mint green. It's called an Earl Grey. And I think they also did something with the binding as well, just to help it lay more flat, even though it already does lay wonderfully flat. So I'm recording this right after church, so I haven't filled in yet my Sunday for this week, but I'll show you when I got it. Let me look back. So I got it at the very end of July. And you can see here is where I was trying to use my Sharpie pen. And you can see on the back side, sorry, I'm having issues with this setup, that it doesn't bleed through, but it did ghost. And that was just bothering me. Here was my first week to do the reflect and reset. And so the way I'm doing it is just talking about not using any specific words, just reflecting on the week. And the reset, I'm doing in terms of focus. What am I going to focus on for this week to get myself back into the habits that are important to me? As I said, I haven't had this for too long, and I have not yet filled out my rule of life. I need to, but I'm still working on it. I want it to be something that I really am confident in, that I want to be my rule of life going forward. So I've been brainstorming and working on that, but I haven't gotten it to the point that I want to write it in here yet. So that's why those pages were blank, and also so I could show it without feeling like I was being too personal. So the monthly spread, again, I'm using, as I said, for activities with my boys, just intentional things that I want to do with them. Things like making gummy bears, going swimming, going to the gym, going to a museum that's in the area or close to the area. So I am doing it in pencil instead of doing the color coding, because the color coding doesn't really matter. I was doing it for what I did with one kid versus the other, and what was both of them together, but I don't really need to know that. So my daily pages, since this is not my main planner, I know for people that it is their main planner, their setup is going to look pretty different. And I hope that I showed you on the blank pages how you would set that up if you're using it as your main planner. For me, since I'm using it just for my Bible study and reflection, this is how mine looks currently. So I love these quotes so much from the Book of Common Prayer. And I'm using the Daily Office now instead of the Revised Common Lectionary. Comparing it to the Revised Common Lectionary, there are pros and cons for me. I like that there are more Psalms, and that's good. I have found it harder in this format, especially with more text sometimes. Sometimes they're up to 3 Psalms. To do it morning, afternoon, and evening. I'm finding that I'm just taking a set-aside time and doing it then, which is kind of going to be helpful as school starts back, so I'm going to be ushering my kids around to school in the mornings and have it harder to have that quiet time. And then most of my classes for grad school are in the evenings, so it's going to be harder to have that time as well in addition to my journaling. So I'm finding around lunchtime is the time that I sit down and really spend time in God's Word, and it's been working so far. I'm not currently using the projects here, but I love the way this is set up, so I'm trying to figure out how to make this work for how I'm using this planner, not doing daily tasks with it. I use the notes section for my reflection, so I just write, if there are multiple Psalms, I'll do what number Psalm. Sometimes I won't reflect on all the Psalms, especially if there's 3. I may not have as much to say about all 3 of them. Sometimes I do. One thing I do miss with the Revised Common Lectionary is that my phone's ringing. It would be the same Psalm every week, which was nice for the first half of the week. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday would have the same Psalm, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday would be the next Psalm. So that gave me a chance to really reflect on a single Psalm for multiple days. I feel like, especially having multiple Psalms each day, sometimes I don't give them as much credit. I don't pray into them. I don't meditate on them as much as I used to when I was using the Revised Common Lectionary, and so I missed that. But I think part of that's just going to be reorienting myself, and maybe going to the weekly and just using that Psalm throughout, and doing that in addition, maybe every morning, just praying that Psalm. So I'm going to figure out how I can make it work for me. That is one thing that I really missed, switching to the Daily Office as opposed to the Revised Common Lectionary. In here I did put an appointment this time, but again, trying to use that space as best as I can, I have changed that going forward so that now in addition to my reflecting on the scripture, I use this space for prayer requests. So every day I write down any prayer needs that have come to me. I'd said in a previous video I was wanting to come up with a prayer journal, and I hadn't figured out a format for that. And so this is really working for me because I can look back to previous days and say, okay, these were the prayer requests. I just started doing that this past Wednesday, I guess. And see, these are the prayer requests that have come up this week. If there are things that have been resolved, I can praise God for the resolution. If they're not, keep praying for them. And so that's, as I'm doing my journaling and my reflection on the text, then I can think about what prayer needs there are. And I can also add to this throughout the day. So I'm really loving this setup. It is working well for me to not write in the lectionary text as I had been with this. Sorry, I am messing up this Zoom. I need to not do a setup like this again because it's not working for me. But the only thing I'm missing from this setup is the morning, afternoon, and evening. But again, that's going to be harder for my schedule going forward. And I do miss using the Revised Common Lectionary. The daily office is great, and I think once I've been doing it for a while, I'll get used to it. But I'd gotten used to using the Revised Common Lectionary. So that's just an adjustment. But I just love every week this reflection and resetting. I'm doing the Level 10 Life. I'll link down below in case you didn't see that video. So that keeps me focused on those 10 areas of my life. But to do it each week, it brings me back to that. And just the wording of it, reflect, reset, having the rest and reward with my tasks, and to just get into that mindset. And then the rule of life, ordering all of it. This is such a well thought out planner. It's so well done. And they really just thought about a way to order. It's a different way of ordering your life. It's ordering your life around your faith and around God, and around the lectionary year, the way that we understand time in the church. One other neat thing that I want to show you, in the back there's actually a finger prayer labyrinth. So this talks about it here, but it's a nice space just to reflect and meditate. If you've ever seen a real prayer labyrinth, they're beautiful. Sometimes they're constructed out of hedges, sometimes they're constructed out of walls that they put up just temporarily. And it's just a way to walk and meditate and commune with God. And so the fact that they're able to put that in a planner in this finger labyrinth is so awesome. Because one of the focuses I feel like in here is stillness and quiet and rest. It's very ordered towards Sabbath. And so to have this as another tool right in your planner, so cool. I cannot say enough about the Sacred Ordinary Days Liturgical Day Planner and just the whole community that they've created. I'm definitely ordering the 2017 one when it becomes available for pre-order. So I don't know what changes they might make for that. I think I'm going to order it in the gray so I can have the mint and the gray together. But yeah, I'm just really, you can tell how much work was put into this. They have an Instagram, they have the Facebook group. They're currently doing something on faith foundations for this month, for the month of August. That's been really neat. So make sure you check those out and get involved with that. They have a newsletter that has a community, and they have a blog. So I'm going to put all the links that I can find down below so you can check out in whatever avenue you find best. Being on the academic year planner is available now, and the 2017 calendar year planner will be available. Grant said the pre-orders would open up in September, so be looking for that. If you have any questions about it, again, I just got this a couple of weeks ago. I know I have not begun to utilize all the different ways I can use this, especially since I don't have it as my main planner. I'm using it slightly differently, but even in that, I just absolutely love it, and I think that you would love it too. If you're looking for a planner that really integrates you and gets you into a different rhythm, if you want to enrich your faith life with the historical life of the church and the way that the church has rhythmed its life for centuries, then definitely check this out. I hope this was a helpful and fun video. Hoping to have some more stuff coming up. My grandmother passed away in this past week, and so I'm going to be traveling at some point in the next couple of weeks, so it may be a bit quiet on the video front for a while. But I will hopefully catch up eventually, so subscribe to see more, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.